driving along at a stoplight, goes green. Put your foot on the accelerator, trying to go, but it's not gonna go. And you hear the engine making some really rowdy noises. Hello and welcome to another episode of Warhammer Motorsport. My name is Oliver as always, and we went to Vegas. It was awful. Another week later, we're in the shop, hood open, spark plugs out. In here, I have what's called an ultra gauge, and that is gonna tell me codes when it pops up, all right? So, I got a code P0304. Now, what that is misfire in cylinder 4. So if you get a code that starts with a P03, that means it's a misfire. So if it's P0301, that's a misfire in cylinder 1. All right, so as soon as I get that code, I need to check two things. First thing is I need to check the spark plugs, all right? Next is the coil packs. So how am I gonna check those? I'm gonna swap them around. If you change the spark plug from cylinder 4 to cylinder 1, and then the coil pack from cylinder 4 to cylinder 2. If it follows, if the misfire goes from P0304 to P0302, then you know it's a coil pack. If it goes to P0301, you know it's a spark plug. Now, I do not advise you switch out that one coil pack or that one spark plug. What I suggest you do is replace all of the spark plugs or all of the coil packs, especially if you are tuned and if you're running some performance stuff on the car. Even if it is just a stage 1, especially guys, stage 2, big turbo guys, make sure you replace all of the spark plugs or all of the coil packs. Do not cheap out and just buy one. These are my spark plugs right here. This is cylinder 3, this is cylinder 4. Both of them are pretty terrible, but I just wanted to show you exactly what this looks like. Okay, so here, what you can see is it's a little wet. You can sort of see it's a little wet. But what I really want you to pay attention to is the end of this spark plug right here. Now that's white, all right? That's white. That's not good. That means it's burning fuel, and you don't want that, okay? Now, this is cylinder number 4, okay? So now as you can see, we've got some wet on here, all right? Same thing, it's got white on the end, right? And when I smell it, it smells like that good, pure E85, okay? Now, what you can also see is on the ring, on the washer right here, you can see some fuel. I don't know if you can see it. You can see some fuel on there. All right, so that's telltale sign. You're getting too much fuel in there. Maybe you got a stuck injector. Most likely it's a stuck injector. Now, we ran competition 85, C85 VP Racing Fuel in Las Vegas, and I think that's what did it. So I'm gonna show you what it looks like inside the cylinder, and I'm going to show you about maybe 5 mil of E85 just chilling on top of the piston. So here we go. I've already taken the spark plugs out and I've taken the coil packs out, okay? So if you have a misfire of any kind, like I said, you want to change from 4 to 1, and then you want to take the coil pack and take it from 4 to number 2, all right? So that changes the spark plug position and changes the coil pack position. Okay, so now what we have here is we have a Borescope. Now you can get these on Amazon, relatively inexpensive. As you can see, it's pretty good, the quality of it. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the Borescope down into cylinder 1. We're looking into cylinder 1, all right? And that looks pretty clear to me. There's no reflection, and for 87,000 miles, those look pretty clean if you ask me, right? So not too bad. All right, so let's move on to cylinder 2. Not too bad, but there's no fuel on there, so that's good. Move on to cylinder 3. We still look okay. Not too bad. Now we're going to look into the cylinder 4, the one I got the misfire on. So let's take a look at that one. You see the reflection already? All right, now look at that. Now that is E85. That is fuel chilling on top of the piston. And also you can see the reflections of, look at that. That's a lot of fuel. You see it just completely covered. I'm gonna replace all 4 injectors with factory injectors. I'm not gonna do any MPI or any upgrades like that. I'm gonna stick with the stock fuel injectors at the moment. Then I'm gonna replace the spark plugs with these spark plugs here. They're the Denso Iridium Racing 5750. I'm gonna make sure they're gapped correctly. I'm gonna flush the oil twice. We don't know at what exactly the fuel has done. We don't know if it's washed away the cylinder walls. We're not sure. So just to be safe, I'm gonna make sure that fuel is gone, the oil is not contaminated. We've got fresh oil in there, so the cylinder walls can be 100% lubricated, and we don't want any damage on that. Looking at these cylinders, so the car has about 87,000 miles. Looking at the cylinder walls, they look okay, but we are starting to get some pre-detonation scoring inside the cylinder walls. Now what that looks like is little J-hooks like this. I'll show you in just one second, but it's a little J-hooks just like this. Now what happened is, imagine that this is your piston, all right? It's going up and down, just like this, okay? Now what happens is, if you have pre-detonation, as the piston is coming up and it detonates, it's gonna push it to one side of the wall based on the detonation. And then it's gonna push to that side and score the wall. With the E85, you need to advance your timing. Now, I'm not 100% sure. I'll reach out to my tuners just to get an exact answer. But with the advancing of that E85, because it is a longer, colder burn, it is gonna, I think it is gonna detonate, you know, it's gonna advance. So it's gonna detonate before you're right before top dead center. So you're gonna have those scoring marks, especially running the E85 as long as I have. I think that, you know, that's just a side effect of it. I think that I need to pay attention to it. There's no effect on it right now. We're not getting any rod knock or, you know, anything like that. So I think it's gonna be fine, but it is definitely something that I am now aware of and I need to pay attention to. Probably every time I, you know, change the spark plugs, I'll drop the Borescope in there and I'll take a look and I'll see what it looks like. So this is what it looks like. If you got a Borescope at home, you can take a look at it, but I'm gonna show you what it looks like. All right, so here we are looking at the side of the cylinder walls here. Now you see those sideward scoring marks right there? See those little marks on the side right there? Those little J-hooks? Now that is pre-detonation. With the 85, I think it's okay. I'm gonna check, but I think it's okay. But as you can see, look down there, there's the E85 chilling on top of the piston. But I just wanted to show you that pre-detonation right there. So that's what that looks like. If you got a cool Borescope like this, take a look at yours. Let me know. Let me know if you experienced this as well. Thanks for tuning in to part 1. Now that we've seen everything, we've diagnosed the problem, now we're gonna fix it. I'm gonna walk you through the steps of changing the injectors, changing the spark plug, then we're gonna get back on the road. Stay tuned for part 2.